All right. Hey, how's it, everybody? It is a little bit after 5 p.m. West Coast time. I'm thinking it's probably around 2 p.m. Yeah, we'll call it 2 p.m. 2 p.m. Hawaii time, 8 p.m. on the East Coast, and 7 p.m. for our Central Time folk. It looks like we have got folks from all over coming on in. I see Cindy Krause in the house. We've got Elaine all right up in here. Rick, as usual, coming in saying hello to Felicia. And then we've got Darlene, Rick's usual lady on his arm. Let's see who else we have got here. So yeah, Rick, Cindy, Elaine, Cindy again, Felicia. Oh, yes, yes, yes. Here we go. Rick and Darlene and Cindy, we're all here. Perfect. And Elaine. All right. So, we definitely know we've got some twitchiness, and I say that in the best possible way. I mean, we're on Twitch, and I'm thinking we might be on YouTube as well, but we've got a recon person going to double check that status right now. Rick is going to log into his secret identity of a YouTuber as well and come on back with the knowledge. And okay, so what have we got today? We've got a bunch of things today, but before we do anything, we're going to get the party started. We don't need no stinking recon. We got ourselves Elaine live in action on the YouTubes. Darlene can see the YouTubes on her TV screen, so it sounds like we are broadcasting and coming at ya with all cylinders pumping. Okay, so this weekend, as many of you know, Father's Day weekend. So thank you, fathers, for being out here. You've got better things to do with your family, probably, but that's okay. We're here. Happy Father's Day. I hope you had a good one. I know I saw some tasty looking foods for some of these dads on the list here. No names mentioned. But you know, Rick, I'm looking in your direction. And so, speaking of yummy foods, you guys, Rick and Darlene and Shock and our very own A-Ware. Well, actually, not our very own A-Ware. She hangs out more on the Daily Pigeon side, but that's okay. She pops in and shows face here every once in a while. They went out and about this weekend, and I was a little bit jealous. Now, one of the things that they did, I didn't get to download the pictures for, so we're going to have to appreciate that later. But one of the things that they did, which we can all appreciate, I think, is... Uh-oh. Oh, no. Did I not do what I wanted to do? Okay, well, what we're going to do is we're going to look at where they were. And while we're doing that, I wanted to do something, but I didn't do it. But that's okay. Here. Boop. Okay, so that's where they were at. Now, let's see if I can pretend to chitter chatter while I look for what I meant to do. And yes, Darlene, I saw that you made that lovely steak dinner. And I have to wonder, so Darlene showed a beautiful picture of the lovely steak dinner that she made for Rick. And it had some yummy asparagus, some delicious mushrooms, a wonderful looking steak. But there was something in a separate pot, Darlene. I couldn't tell if it was like crunchy topped mashed potatoes or if it was like the cobbler for dessert. So tell me there, Darlene, what was in that dish? Because it looked flippin' flirpin' delicious. And speaking of delicious, this is what I meant to do earlier. This is what the menu, or at least part of the menu, looked like at the Mad Rooster. And so Darlene giving, right, exactly, E.T., Elaine, a beautiful painting. The decor looked like it was a really fun place. But Darlene was saying, not only is it, a fun place with good food, it's all organic. And so Rick coming in, that it was the place for breakfast on Friday. Just a coincidence that it was Mad. And Darlene talking about a different picture that we're not looking at right now. Darlene was talking about, it's the rhubarb crisp from the garden for dessert. Oh my God, that's even better. So yeah, Darlene basically just won dinner for all of us. I mean, not for all of us, but if we were all in competition for who made the best dinner tonight, my best guess is Darlene walked away with the trophy. Yeah, rhubarb crisp, delish. But this is not rhubarb crisp. This is the menu at the crazy little place. This is the little, mural. And then this is the little close-up of the tattoo on the lady's arm. By the way, this video was thanks to, and there's that close-up. This video was thanks to Shock, who isn't here today because she's got things in Stephasus to do. But, boom, here is the evidence that Shock was with Rick and Darlene. And lo and behold, they are at the Mad Rooster. And that there in the back corner, we might know that lady as A-Ware. And so, all those people got to meet up today. And or not today, this weekend. And frankly, I'm a little bit jealous. And then when I saw where they went and ate, I got even more jealous. And let's see here. Rick, no can give a trophy. You ate all the evidence. Yep, there we go. So we can't go judging. And Cindy, you made some chocolate chip sourdough cookies today. And Elaine, remains of coffee cup on the menu. You love it. Hey, Gina, good to see you. We're going to go back and look at this menu for a minute. The remains, oh yes, the remains of the coffee cup on the menu. And you know what, Elaine? I think that might be part of the printing, right? Because this looks like it's a laminated menu. So that, good eye, nice touch. And PPP Bang, so good to see you. So good to see you. You and Gina coming in just a smidge late, but that's okay because a smidge late is still on time because we're still rolling. All it means is you missed the intro and you missed the menu. Well, no, you didn't miss the menu because I just showed it. The menu of a yummy organic place in Wisconsin called Mad Rooster. That's right. No, this video that we're having here today is not sponsored by the Mad Rooster, but I thought I would share with you what I got jealous over this weekend. And that, my friends, is what I got jealous over this weekend. So, aside from the delicious dinner that Rick got, I'm just wondering, what did you guys do anything this weekend? It is, Father's Day in the United States. I'm guessing, PPP Bang, that Father's Day is probably not something they celebrate in Finland, not because the Finnish are cold-hearted and don't celebrate, but because it's really kind of an American thing, right? Oh, no, you have it in November. Oh, okay, right on. Hey, Tractor Tom, good to see you coming in from Denmark. So, have you, and I don't mean this with any innuendo, have you plowed a few fields yet lately? Tell me about those fields you've been plowing, Tractor Tom. I know that sounds like I might be doing a little double entendre, but no. I'm actually asking him if he's plowed any fields because, and I suppose he doesn't really plow fields with the kind of tractor that he's got, but he had a brand new John Deere. And last time he was here, he was very excited about it. And so, no, it's been raining too much. Fair enough. With thunder and hail, yeah, okay, you don't need it. C Honda, good to see you. Mad Rooster, that's exactly it. There we go. Now, let's see here. Rick, Father's Day, you just got back from dropping off your car at the dealer for some work tomorrow. That's not a lot of fun. Not gonna lie. And Cindy, you're making tacos because Mr. Daughter asked you to. I don't know what you mean by Mr. Daughter, unless you mean it's your daughter's husband, in which case that's a really cute name. But Cindy, I'm very, very curious. How do you make sourdough chocolate chips? Because chocolate chip cookies, I mean. Because sourdough dough, to me, I always thought was like for bread. And bread dough and cookie dough are not the same kind of dough. So how does that work out? And eMusic, what city was that restaurant in? You know what? You're going to have to ask, those who are much more local than I am, because I don't know. I mean, I venture to say it was in Milwaukee, but I also know that I don't know. All right, you got to go, Tractor Tom. Just wanted to check in. Super stoked that you were able to check in. Don't get hit by too much hail. Keep that tractor safe from the hail, and we will hopefully see you soon. And so, let's see here, Cindy. Yeah, this is a spelling-free zone. Don't you even worry. But sometimes spelling-free zones do end up being a little bit, a little bit humorous when we try to figure out what it is you're talking about. So, and Gina, I know them Hamajangers hanging out is so cool for them. I really, I enjoy how large our country is. It makes for some distinctly regional cultural differences, which are just wonderful to explore. But at the same time, I really hate how large our country is because why can't I just go drive over there for a weekend and say boop a doop? You know, but no, you can't drive to the middle of the country from where I'm at in just a weekend. I mean, I guess you can if you're up like 28 hours a day. Yeah, I know. But you know, I mean, this is too much. It's too much. And okay, so you think that restaurant is really in West Milwaukee? Oh, so it wasn't Milwaukee-ish, but more like West Milwaukee. I don't know what that means. Is that the more rural, or is that the more hoity, or is the rural more the hoity? Um, and Gina, you couldn't drive either, but mostly because I don't drive. Fair enough. Fair enough. And hey, Spice Wolf One, good to see you, first time chatter. Although I feel like I've seen you here before, so maybe you aren't. Maybe the restream bot is confused. But welcome in if you are the first time chatter. I am Mad Statter. You are now part of the Statterbox crew. Welcome to Chatter with Statter. Right now, we're randomly talking about breakfast foods, I guess, and then what we did this weekend, etc., etc. And so, Darlene bragging about, you don't think you've been here before? Okay, well, there was somebody else with a Spicy Wolf name on last stream, so, I will take your word for it. You, Spice Wolf, say you haven't been here. The bot who pays attention to these things says you haven't been here, so, you know, I guess 2 against 1 says to me, you probably never been here. But yeah, breakfast, my friend. Talk about what you like to have for breakfast. Are you a Spam person? Are you a bacon person? Are you or are those horrifying things and you're just like, no, give me some fruit, give me some toast. I don't even do breakfast. Just give me the black coffee, man. You know, all sorts of ideas for things for the breakfast items. That's right. I said breakfast because that's how I say breakfast. But yeah, welcome in, Spice Wolf. And we're going to be talking about a lot of random stuff today. One of the things we're going to be talking about today is not a fun topic at all. On the other hand, it's a learning moment and a lesson in what not to do. What not to do. And, well, things have been resolved a little bit to make it more funny at this point than unhappy, but we will be getting into some local drama that normally I would just keep local. Why would you guys care? You'll see why. You guys might want to, well, we have this pointing and laughing emote for a reason, and the city that I live in needs to be pointed and laughed at by anyone and everyone and anyone for the stupid thing that they did. We're going to talk about that in a little bit, but first, toast and tea depends on the day, says Spice Wolf. Spice Wolf, even though I can't talk, I'm trying to talk to you, my friend. And then, let's see here. You played some Fortnites with Terry. Oh, wait, Gina, you played some Fortnites with Terry. It's like, wow, Spice Wolf knows Terry? No, makes more sense. You rewatch the surfing movie, fantastic, and research new computers under $1,000 because this thing is dying. Oh, Gina. Researching the latest computers was one of the most mind-bending things because I know so little, I don't even know what I need to know, you know? And then the different types of hard drives, the SSD drive versus the whatever drive versus the... I hope you know more than me. That's all I have to say. I hope you know more than me. And yeah, and eMusic, good luck. Don't go crazy. That is basically what it is. So, okay, you guys, since I alluded to it, we might as well just get to it. This is a topic that is, I don't know for certain how worldwide this topic is, but this topic is without a doubt nationwide in the United States. Homelessness is an epidemic proportions for a lot of reasons. We're not going to get into the reasons. The reasons are, you know, housing costs, unemployment, mental illness, drug addiction. There's a lot of reasons, and that's really not the point. The point is homelessness. It's a problem, Every city and town has this problem. Large cities like Seattle, which my town borders on, has a huge problem. But my town, only 50,000, also has a significant problem with homelessness. Now, in order to deal with this isn't something that we're going to be able to deal with on a city by city basis. It's really something that us as counties, states, and honestly nationally, we're going to have to formulate some kind of strategy. But what I can tell you is in this past month, my town has provided a template for exactly what not to do. So let's get started, shall we? We've got this little news clip, and this news clip alludes to a lot of things that you guys don't know what the heck they're talking about probably. I will explain to you. But this news clip gives the best synopsis that there is. So let me cue this up. This might be awkward.
Weeks after this homeless encampment was cleared from here to make way for a proposed dog park, tents have been shuffling around the city of Burien. So thanks for joining us for your News at 11. I'm David Rose. Tonight, some unhoused people are camping out near City Hall. It's close to where the original encampment was cleared earlier this year. Fox 13 News reporter Nia Wong is here to explain what's happened since then.
Not only has a new encampment popped up close to where a larger one started earlier this year, but as predicted by some, it is now spread out near other businesses in Burien. Another day, another tent moves in across these businesses on 152nd Street.
It's a bit concerning, especially since we have a lot of kids walk up and down the street, like older pedestrians as well.
Emmanuel Guzman says these new campers moved in not long after they were swept out of Dottie Harper Park last week, marking the fourth time a homeless encampment has moved this year, now circling back near Burien City Hall.
People are going to want to avoid Burien altogether, and especially for like business and safety.
Which is why Guzman says he plans to attend Burien City Council's meeting on Monday night.
It's hard to relocate people sometimes, but I think there's a better solution to what's being done right now.
While the agenda shows an outreach coordinated care model presentation is slated for the upcoming meeting, it doesn't specifically mention discussions on encampments moving around Burien.
Council may be willing to take up the conversation at a later date, but at this time, to my knowledge, there is no intention of discussing this ongoing humanitarian crisis.
Speaking to Fox 13, not on behalf of City Council, but as an individual, Burien City Council member Sydney Moore has repeatedly called for a long-term solution for the unhoused in Burien.
The city is spending money on cleaning up or throwing away people's belongings anytime there's a sweep, so it's costing us. It's costing us time, resources, and energy.
While Moore says a conversation to address the encampment is still to be determined, she did say there are plans to discuss the future of her and Planning Commissioner Charles Schaefer.
At our recent meeting, the City Council voted to hold a special meeting to discuss possibly censuring me and potentially removing Charles Schaefer.
She says she doesn't know the exact basis for this vote. She and Schaefer have dealt with pushback from some community members who are upset for what she says upholding their duties as public servants.
If our unhoused constituents ask us, what is the city's law? What is the city's existing policy? And how can we comply with that law? We have an obligation, both because of our office and a moral obligation, I feel, to inform people.
Moore says the special meeting focused on her and Schaefer could come as early as this week, but that still doesn't address what to do about the encampments.
We have to find a way to move forward because this is not going away, and we have to continue allocating resources in ways that will address this, not wasting resources chasing people around from place to place.
As Burien moves forward without a resolution, encampments are still moving across parts of Burien. We have reached out to Burien City Council for more information. For now, Councilmember Moore says, as far as she knows, an offer from King County of $1 million to help with the encampment still stands. In studio, Nia Wong, Fox 13 News.
Paying attention to things.
Okay, so, hold on, boop, there we go. Okay, so a lot of info was presented in that news clip that you guys have no context of, so I'm going to fill you in just a smidge. So, we've got ourselves the city council. Now, Sydney is in the lower left. Next to her is a gentleman named Hugo Garcia. Now, Hugo, he reached out to King County and got an offering from King County to help deal with our city's homelessness problem. The county offered up $1 million plus 35 pallet homes to our city so we can create some sort of encampment for them. Hugo presented this to the council, and most of the council freaked out and outright said no. They said no for all sorts of different reasons. They literally turned down $1 million from the county because, let's see here, hold on. Because Stephanie just doesn't want an encampment in our town. Jimmy and Sophia would rather see them just on the streets rather than congregated all together in one place. Kevin thought that it was immoral, and no, not immoral, unethical, that Hugo even attempted to, or even contacted the county about this topic to begin with. Now, that's insane to me. So what Sydney was alluding to with the meeting that was happening this Monday was Sydney Moore and a gentleman named Charles Schaefer, who is the planning commissioner chair. Charles Schaefer this Monday was removed from he was outright removed and censured from his planning commission position because he told the homeless population in Burien where it would be legal for them to camp. Because recently there was a Supreme Court ruling that stated if a city has a publicly owned space that has no other anything going on it, and the your homeless people are staying there, unless the city has alternate housing to offer them, it is illegal for them to remove those people from that publicly owned space. And so, tell me about it, eMusic. So, what happened was, let's see here. So, this is a bigger picture map, right? Of the town, basically downtown Burien. So, we've got numbers 1, 2, 3, and 4. Number 1, hey, Andre, good to see you. Number 1, which is at the bottom middle, is Burien City Hall. And that is where the original encampment was. And everybody agreed that, hey there, Shock, good to see you. We're talking about some asinineness that's happened in my city this last week or month. So everybody agreed that them camping around City Hall was a bad idea. And so they were going to sweep them. And right before the sweeps, Charles Schaefer, who has spent years upon years volunteering his time with our city's homeless shelter, he has a relationship with many of these people. He told them, hey, check it out. Here is a piece of land. Here we go. Here is a piece of land over here that you legally can camp in. Thanks to the Supreme Court ruling, this is a publicly owned piece of land that the city cannot kick you out of. And so we're looking at a piece of picture here. City Hall, boom, that's number 1. That's where the original camp was. Charles told them, hey, go move to slot number 2. Do you see slot number 2 there? That tiny piece of land on the left-hand side. So Charles told the homeless people, it is legal for you to camp here. You need to go camp here. So they took his word for it and they went and they did it. Well, the city council freaked out because I guess they just thought that by sweeping out of City Hall, they weren't going to go anywhere. And so Charles and Sydney got in trouble for initiating that communication. And that is what the city council decided to focus on, was censuring Charles and Sydney and perhaps kicking Charles off of the planning commission. Well, Charles, they instead decided, okay, Charles didn't do this as an ambassador of the city. He did this on his own accord. Maybe we can't kick him out. Eventually, they did decide to kick him out. But I'm getting ahead of myself here. So, move number 1 and 2, when he, started here, went to here, they swept them out of space number 2 by illegally creating a lease of under market value lease with the animal shelter for the town. So the animal shelter for $165 a month is going to get a corner lot of prime downtown real estate leased $165 a month. That is so under market, I can't even begin to explain to you, right? So they're leasing to the under market value, leasing it to the shelter, the animal shelter, to build a dog park, an off-leash dog park that the shelter won't use. It's for the housed people, the people in the apartment buildings of the city. The city did a backdoor lease deal, and it was so illegal that the county came in and said, we are not helping you remove these people. What you just did is illegal. We will not be providing sheriffs. We will not be providing police. We will not be providing any, because normally during homelessness sweeps, you've got the cops, you've got the county, you've got the aid workers, you've got the outreach, you've got the everything. The county said, nope, we're not giving you anything because City of Burien, what you're doing is illegal. So the city went and did it anyway. And so, I mean, at this point, you just have to wonder, well, what do they think's going to happen? Do they think that these homeless people are just going to disappear? No. Instead, what they did was they moved to Dottie Harper Park across town in these 2 little slots that I've marked 3. So to give you the larger picture, let's see here, because I've got maps. So we've got 1 and 2 at the bottom of the picture. Then we've got 3 at the top of the picture. That's where this is the third encampment in less than 2 months that they've moved to. Well, they couldn't have it they couldn't, there's actually laws in the books that do prohibit camping in a public park. So those sweeps happened, boom, immediately. And now the city council got its wish. Now everyone is camping here on the streets, under the trees on 152nd Street in public. And they decided, as you can see here in this little headline, City Council removed Planning Commissioner's chair, Charles Schaefer. All right, yeah, this is, blah, blah, blah. This is par for course. Why do we even care? Here's where it gets good, guys. Here's where it gets good. So much of this sweeping and moving was done by both our city council and this position we have called a city manager. I won't get into why we have a manager, but we do. We have a city manager. He's brand new. And basically he is the impetus behind all these, just shove them under a rug. We've got no solutions. We don't want the money from King County, because the city manager also is like, no, we don't want that money. It's unaccountable for. And it's like, what do you mean it's unaccountable for? It's from the county. It's very countable. So they removed Charles from the planning commission. Within 24 hours, the entire planning commission, all 6 of them, resigned. The planning commission is the only legally mandated commission that the city of Burien is required to have. They now have none. And almost every single other volunteer for all the other commissions, like the Parks Commission, et cetera, they all quit too. Every single one of them quit in solidarity with Charles because the county offered $1 million plus 35 pallet houses to help solve this problem. And Burien City Council literally said, we don't want an encampment. We would rather see them on the streets. Now the city has no legally mandated planning commission, no parks commission, I can't remember what the other commission was that's basically gotten everybody disbanded from. But basically, the city council, what used to be a functioning collective of commissions, council members, and managers, have now been reduced down to 4 people on the city council who caused this, and then the city manager, and everybody else is basically resigning. Now, you would think that's kind of weird, right? I mean, it's kind of weird. The weird thing is it's not. Our city manager is new as of maybe like 4 months ago. And the last place he worked, all the police officers quit. The last town that he was a city manager for, the exact same thing happened, basically. Everyone stopped working for him because his ideas were so bad, they just stopped working for him. And he was able to so ineptly manage a city that he couldn't even fill unfilled positions for the police department, and they had to close down their police force. It's a flippin' comedy of errors at this point. So what I'm saying, I don't have a solution. What I do have, though, is a template for what not to do, and my city just did it. We are right now living through the most idiotic choice of, I mean, I don't know how this is gonna end up. I don't know. But we don't have a legally mandated planning commission, which is not a good thing. Our Parks Commission has gone away, which is not a good thing. It's the beginning of the park season. This is now when we need the Parks Commission the most. So, eMusic, the city manager has a terrible legacy. And I jokingly said, and the reason why I found out about his gig at his previous city was because I jokingly said online somewhere, I said, I wonder where somebody puts this on their resume. Entire city commissions, resign because of my decision. Like, do you put that under awards, special achievements, recognitions? Like, where on your resume do you put this? I was obviously being very facetious. And my friend pulled up an article and was like, I really wish he would have put it on his resume because this isn't the first time it happened. And so I was gobsmacked to see that, like, oh, this guy has a history of basically dismantling cities from within. Wonderful hire. Wonderful, wonderful hire. Now, sorry I didn't answer. Burien's population is a little bit over 50,000. And 50,000 is not necessarily a large town, especially considering, we're right next to Seattle, who's the biggest town, the biggest city in the state. But there aren't that many cities in Washington that are over 50,000. I think there's only like 20 of them. So even though 50,000 isn't a lot, it's actually one of the bigger cities in the state. Certainly not the top, the top 10 biggest cities, but it is like in the top 25 biggest cities of the states, in the state. And so 50,000, absolutely. There's no reason. A city of 50,000 in the most populous county, a county that has offered money to help this. I don't know, I don't know how this is going to work out. There's scuttlebutt amongst the city council members that I've heard, because I am actually friends with Sydney Moore, and I'm friends with a couple other people on the planning commission, or who were on the planning commission. There is some scuttlebutt apparently that they're thinking about maybe undoing all that they just did this week and inviting Charles back and then hoping this will all go away. But the fact still remains, they chose to convene a special meeting just to kick Charles off. not a special meeting to address the homelessness issue, which is what Sydney was suggesting in that interview. And so this whole thing has been like growing in just a kerfuffle from a long time ago, but now it's just exploded. And Elaine, how did the city manager get that job? Elected, appointed, not elected, not appointed, and I don't know how. I do know that the previous city manager, Brian Wilson, was less than stellar for sure. Everybody had some problems with him, but everybody liked him a little bit, and he never, oh my God, he was not a nightmare like this guy. I don't know if, I have this question. I literally posed that question to a couple former city council members that are friends of mine and the planning commission people that I know. Like, how did this clown get hired? And more importantly, how can we fire him and get a new one? Because to me, that seems like one of the most logical steps to go. Now, the other, obviously, key is to unelect Sophia and Stephanie. Now, Stephanie, so this is the city council. Stephanie is the most conservative on the board, and her viewpoints are kind of abhorrent. She is the one who outright just says, I don't want an encampment in Burien. I don't think it would look good for our city. I don't want one. That's just the dumbest reason ever. But you know what? At least she's honest about it. She has been honest about her position from the get-go. We know where she stands. Sophia and Kevin and Jimmy, they've been this little slippery, sneaky snakes who've been talking both sides of their mouth. Sophia is the mayor, the de facto mayor right now. And I'll tell you what, man, those guys have a lot to answer for come next election season. I don't think that Stephanie's going to have it held against her too much because she is who she is and she always is, and she got elected like that anyway. But all those other ones, lots of people thought they liked them, and now they do not. So, and yeah, luckily, let's see here. I think this year in November, election season's coming up. I think this year in November, we've got, well, unfortunately, actually, now that I think about it, I think right now, here we go. I think Kevin, Hugo, Sydney, and Sarah, no, not Sarah. I think Kevin, Hugo, and Sydney are the ones that are up for re-election. Hugo and Sydney are actually on the right side of this issue. So it's Kevin that needs to, it's Kevin, in my opinion, that needs to get booted. But basically it's really frustrating as a resident of a town to know that the county offered up $1 million plus 35 pallet houses and our city turned it down. Because the reality is, it seems like every single solution that people come up with, the reason why we don't pursue that solution is we don't have the funding. We don't have enough money. We don't have money. We don't have the funding. We don't have the money. And this free money was literally being offered up, and perhaps still is. The county hasn't rescinded the offer, according to that news article. So folks, my point with this rambling is pay attention to your city council members. Your local politics are sometimes the most important politics, even though they're the easiest to ignore. And if you see your city doing what my city did, get ready for some problems, my friend, because we are about ready to have problems. So, let's see here. So I've babbled for so long and missed some of the greatest little quotes, like Cindy. They had to go all the way across the country to find the worst candidate possible. Wow. Yeah, that's exactly how I feel about the city. The city manager. And let's see here. Yeah, Andre, exactly. I love how great the small town morals are. You've got people trying to do the right thing and they get charged, with illegal actions. Yeah, that's exactly it. And Rick, ultimately, that's what it boils down to. You either help people when they could use a hand or be prepared to spend way more on crime and other services. Yeah, it is. It actually, they have on numerous occasions shown the city of Seattle actually, like I would say about 20 years ago, had this one problem alcoholic homeless dude who was in and out of jail, in and out of the hospital, in and out of the ER, constant services. They kept track of this one dude and how much this one dude cost the city over the span of a year. And when they realized that this one dude cost the city over $250,000 in services between jail, emergency, fire, court costs, court this, blah, 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 all the ways that money gets sucked up when you get in the system, it cost the city $250,000 for this one dude. And they realized that they could actually build a house for him for like $16,000, which would be a lot cheaper. And since most of his infractions had everything to do with him not being able to find stable housing, public drunkenness, and illnesses from sleeping on the streets, et cetera, all of these things could be fixed by giving this guy an apartment. And so it's cheaper. Like the city of Seattle acknowledges that it's actually cheaper. Now it becomes when you start talking about huge populations at 16,000 a pop, suddenly it doesn't seem cheaper, but in the long run, it actually is. And so Rick, here in a town of 9,000, they put in a city administrator to be the cost cutter. So the elected council members could just play dumb. Rick, honestly, Rick, I think you have just identified the template of which my city is working from. I really do feel like after reading the article that I read about the city manager and what he did to that Vermont town, I really do think that he sold himself as a cost cutter. And unfortunately, sometimes penny wise equals pound foolish. You're cutting your budget here and you're going to end up paying way more here. Like the city of Seattle once, in their infinite wisdom, decided to cut $100,000 out of their city budget by getting rid of street sweeping, because street sweeping is just a luxury that we don't need. Until all of the drains get clogged and the streets flood, and then the flooding acts as an erosion to all of the hillside homes that overlook the sound, and the hillside homes that overlook the sound, those are the ones worth millions upon millions of dollars. And then when the hillside under those houses collapses and then the houses fall into the water, now suddenly the city owes those housing people millions upon millions of dollars for their lost house because they were liable, because it could be proven that it was their lack of street maintenance that caused the flooding, which caused the erosion, which caused the thing. Then they have to fix the street that got all messed up too. And so in order to save $100,000, it ended up costing them over $7 million. Yeah, Darlene, what? Yeah, that's a need. Exactly. Penny wise, pound foolish, right? We're going to save $100,000. We're so smart. SMRT. I am so smart. SMRT. I mean, SMART. That's a Homer Simpson quote, by the way. And yeah, that literally happened in the 1990s. I've lived here long enough to see cities do stupid things, my friends. And yeah, and so I want to say thank you guys for letting me ramble about this particularly local. I mean, really, this is so local, but on the other hand, The homelessness problem is not just localized. And this was just an example of what not to do, my friends. And I know you guys are not in charge of your cities. I know. But pay attention to your local politics. And if and when this kind of thing happens, make them pay at the ballot box next time. Yeah. But, all right. So, Rahr. That's all me being angry. Now, it's time for something that's much more chill. Much more chill. We're going to do this very chill. And this very chill thing was given to us by Darlene. So we're going to chill just for a second.
That is the call of the whippoorwill, a very rare bird. They're becoming rarer and more rare. That is the call of the whippoorwill, a very rare bird. They're becoming rarer and more rare.
Oh no, Rick. I didn't think about that. The bird is rare to us, but not to you. At 2 a.m., that is just, I'll show you a rare bird. Yeah, oops, that's funny. All right, so eMusic, bringing me back to reality. We're not going to talk about the house repairs at the moment. What we're going to do right now is we are going to take a Lono listening break, but when we come back, we will talk about the the house repairs, or lack thereof, or yeah, we'll just talk about those things. But right now, we are going to listen to a song by Lono called 9 of Diamonds. You can find it on Old Style 9, Gold Style, and yep, here we go. Boop.
9 of Diamonds. Gazing to the night sky and see all the diamonds lit up silently, and the moon that will rise, then realize we are stardust in each other's eyes. We're all made up of all the universe has known. Take the long and the winding road home, path that is taken along. Far away they will hear, somewhere over horizons, when legends and stories are told. The songs and the memories of gold in 21K. As days and the nights fade away, and the years go by oh so fast, and change is a constant reminder we are the same. We are the same. It's okay if we treat each other well. It's okay if we had a bad day. It's okay if we sing out, play ukulele. Maybe that's what we needed to hear. Maybe that's why the people are here, to hear a sweet song. We are the same nine of diamonds.
All right, there we have it, Rabbit. So, our Lono listening moment. And let's see here. All right, before we talk about the home repairs, we're going to go look at one thing. Cookies! Those are the sourdough cookies, apparently, that that Cindy Krause just sent me pictures of. And I have no idea what sourdough chocolate chip cookies would taste like. But, I don't know. I'd be willing to try them. I'd put my taste buds on the line for something like that. That's right. All right. Now, in regards to the home repairs, yes, indeedy. I did allude last night at Statterbox at the cinema that there's some drama with my house. And so to get y'all caught up, for those of you who weren't here last, we're going to say Wednesday, I had a huge job of blackberries that needed to be removed, some gutters that needed to be cleaned. The guy who was going to do it was like, yeah, I can do this, I can do that, I can do the other thing, I can paint your house, I can fix your deck, all for one low cost of blah, 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 blah. And it sounded good. It was great. It sounded great. So we got the blackberries taken care of. But while he was doing the blackberries, he had one of his friends who is a much more experienced home repair guy come look at my house, and he was like, dude, you underbid how much it's going to cost to paint this house properly by about $6,000. Like, this piece of, wood is rotten. This needs to be replaced. We need to check all over here for blah, 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 blah. And so suddenly, what he was saying that he could do for $2,000 has turned into like an $8,500 job. And I'm just like, that's not exactly what I was like, wanting to pay. And I kind of freaked out. On the other hand, because of our conversation that we had together on Wednesday, where Gina and Rick and everybody's like, how's your siding? What's up with the rot? Are you sure? All of these very legitimate questions that got thrown out. You guys were all preparing me for what this guy said. So I was like, now I didn't say, okay, let's do it. I did not say that. Yeah, exactly. Because the guy, here's the deal. The guy who underbid the work, honestly, I don't mind that he underbid it because he really did, break it down for me. He's like, look, I can do, ghetto level job. I can do high end job. I quoted you ghetto level, but we can do it. You can pay me more to do more. When you pay bare minimum, I'm going to do the bare minimum. I'm going to wash, I'm going to sand, I'm going to blah, blah, blah. But, I might not replace that rotted wood or this, that, and the other thing. And so that was good to know. But so we had that conversation. So on my birthday, my best friend from high school, who happens to be a handyman for, in his words, he's like, I'm a handyman for a slumlord. He's just like, the rental units that I work on are nothing but projects. And he's just like, you can have a legit contractor come in and make any job a $10,000 job. They can nitpick and find all sorts of things to bump up the bill. He's like, but I worked for a slumlord. I know how to spot fix and make it work for cheaper. He's like, I can recognize what has to be dealt with, what should be dealt with, what could be dealt with, and the should and could can get dealt with differently than has to, And so, and he was looking and he's like, yeah, he's kind of right about this one place. He's like, but this totally isn't that bad and we can blah, 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 blah. So I got that perspective. And then with the knowledge that Rick has shared, which is Bondo can work wonders. Bondo can work wonders. So slumlord handyman, Bondo, from Rick's Bondo idea. And then I also, my boss's younger brother used to run a house painting business, and he lives 2 blocks from my house. He is no longer in the business. He has no desire to be a painter, but he knows how to do a good job. So what I'm probably going to do is have the old painter come to my house and tell me what he thinks needs to be done, what he thinks should be done, has to be done, probably doesn't need to be done, but I'm going to get his opinion as well. And then I have another friend who came over this weekend and rebuilt my deck for free. He brought his own tools. He brought the materials. He rebuilt my deck for free. My deck is sturdier now than it was when I bought my house. He is chomping at the bit to paint my house. And I was like, listen, hold up, dude. I've been told there's some rot. It's not just a case of putting on a thicker coat of paint like Rick just said. We might need to do some things. He's like, that's cool. Just, blah, blah, blah. So, so basically, I got huge scary news. And then the dude who the more experienced, blah, 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 he came over yesterday, and was just like, well, it's like, yeah, I know you want to think on it, but you really need to do this soon. He really was sort of putting the pressure on me. And it's like, I understand that, the house hasn't been painted for 20 years. I get I need to do something soon, but don't pressure me, man. That's the quickest way for you not to get chosen, is for you to pressure me, man. But he has lit a fire under my butt enough that it's fine. I guess I will get my friends to verify. And exactly, Amy's using pressure is a little bit of a trick. Precisely. And so, and I can't help but but my friend Perry, who's the handyman for a slumlord, his words, not mine, I just can't help but remember his words, which is, contractors will turn any job into a $10,000 job if you let them. Which is true. And so, so I kind of want to, I kind of want to get my former painter, and then I want to get my friend back out here again, only this time under legitimate business purposes, because when Perry came over for my birthday, it was already half dark. We'd already had a drink. We'd already, it wasn't exactly the best time to evaluate my house, let alone get on a ladder. So I want to get, a few more, like all y'all said, get at least 3 bids. I might not be getting 3 bids, but I want to get like definitely 3 different perspectives. And then, yes, Chuck Perry, that's it. You haven't met Perry. Have you met Perry? How could you have met Perry? But, so Rick, I have until the fall weather turns bad, so I wouldn't want to paint then. Right. And that usually happens around October 15th. And so I'm thinking I've got a little bit, but serious as a heart attack, you guys. My friend Chad is so eager to paint my house that he was just like, I'll be by on Wednesday with the blue paint and we can start at the top. And I was like, hold up, yo, hold up. Like, we need to figure out what needs to be fixed before we paint it. But it sounds like I have a crew of wonderful, wonderful people in my life who are willing to help me navigate this potentially expensive home maintenance project. And Pussycat, to clarify what it is that we're talking about. So the backyard project in regards to the blackberries is beautiful and has been done. The gutters have been cleaned, but the deck project and the painting project have been sort of put on hold. The deck project actually has not been put on hold. My friend Chad literally came out of the woodwork. I didn't call him at all. He called me and he's like, I'm coming over to fix your deck. Because he's been thinking about doing that for a while anyway. And so randomly he just came over and fixed my deck. So the deck is gorgeous. But now it's just a case of, before we paint, just how much rotten wood is there. And that's the sticky wicket, as it were. So I'm going to be getting in a host of semi-specialists that I happen to know, and we'll be getting second and third and fourth opinions. And let's see here. Pussycat, did I get rid of the deadly plant by the mailbox? No. I am not touching that thing with a 10-foot pole. But I did contact the county to let them know, and they said they would be looking into it and either removing it themselves or contacting the homeowner whose land it's on. I don't think it's on anybody's land, actually. I think unfortunately, King County, it's going to be on, that's your land, not my neighbor's land. But the county does know about it. But the plant is still there. And, let's see here. Rick, like I said, you got 3 guys in from Hawaii dropping it in the middle of August. That's true. I do. And Elaine, have a drink party and invite those guys over to work at my place. Honestly, I do feel like, that's what's probably going to end up happening. I know that that last Wednesday's streams, either you or Darlene suggested that, and I was like, no, I'll just have this guy do it. Well, I'm 99% sure. No, I might not have this guy do it. And with as eager as Chad was to like get it done, I have a feeling that my roller derby peeps are going to come to my rescue for the most part. Between Thunderstruck, which is Chad, Del from Hell, which is another one of my best friends. He's my auto mechanic friend. And then Sass Squash, that would be Perry. Between those 3 guys, they could probably get that house painted in, well, I'm going to say in 3 days and 3 days and 4 cases of beer. That's what I'm going to say. 3 days and 4 cases of beer. I think that's how long it'll take them. 3 days and 4 cases. And when I say cases, I mean 24 packs, not 12 packs. Dell drinks a lot. But yeah, 3 days, 4 cases of beer. That's how long I think it'll take. And Pussycat, yes, definitely establish a price if I'm hiring a painter. And Pussycat, don't forget the pizza. I won't forget the pizza, but actually what I probably would do is get Jersey Mike's subs and shock. Good beer? No. Nobody wants good beer. They all are like me. They like water beer. They like beer that's quick and easy. It goes down and you can drink it like water. You can just drink it real quick. Hey, Medium 7 Up. So good to see you. We are talking about home repairs and how expensive they are and how I got like a really good bid on my painting job that went from $2,000 to $8,500 and I didn't like that second number at all. So now we're trying to figure out how to do it different because we're not going to do it that way. So $2,000, $8,500. It's just small, just, just different. So yeah. Oh my God. What? Yeah, exactly. Honestly, Medium 7 Up. So you weren't here last Wednesday, but last Wednesday we were talking about painting my house. I was giving people choices of the paint colors, et cetera, and we were talking about basically the job of painting the house. And thanks to that conversation, a bunch of Gina and Rick and I think eMusic, they were all very reality oriented with me. They're like, you need to check your siding. You need to make sure you don't have rot. You need to blah, blah, blah. You need to, all sorts of things. And it was like, I don't want to hear these things. But it was a good thing that they told them to me because literally like right after the conversation on Wednesday with you guys, I then went and talked to the guy who gave the original bid. And he was just like, well, I talked to this other guy and he pointed out blah, blah, blah. And now it might be $8,500. And it's like, no. And Pussycat, the yellow is free, but it's the labor and the materials for fixing all of the potential rot that this other painter guy saw was happening in my house. And so he came in and told his friend, his friend was like $2,500. And he came in later on to like look at the house to like verify for the guy, like, oh yeah, that was a good bid, or whatever. And he was like, no, dude, you just underbid this house by like about $6,000. This, it could easily be an $8,500 to $10,000 job because you've got this rot here, this rot there, blah, blah, blah. So when he told me that, I almost wanted to freak out, and I would have freaked out. I would have cried, I think, had we not had the conversation on my stream last Wednesday, preparing me for this potential reality check. Because it was a harsh choke of reality. And exactly, Rick, to be fair, $8,500 still might be a good price. Precisely. We need to figure out just how rotten my house is, which is why I'm going to be getting in my old school painter friend. Who no longer wants to be a painter, no longer anything, but he's got no skin in this game. So he can honestly say, that dude was full of it. Ain't no rot here. Or, oh, dude, good thing you talked to that dude. Your house is about ready to fall down. He's got no skin in the game. So I have no doubt that he will tell me right, And then I've got a friend who's a handyman for a slumlord, so he knows little tricks up his sleeves to keep jobs cheap, but still get the job done. So, yeah. So we'll see. We'll see. And Pussycat, oh, absolutely. I have I have more equity, probably 2/3 more equity in my house than I owe. And so it is a case of like, yeah, invest or not is the question. And I have been pondering that, but ultimately the reality is, okay, so let's just say I walk away from the house, sell the house, and now I've got X number of dollars in my pocket, but where the heck am I going to live? The idea of living in an apartment makes me want to peel my skin off. So, I kind of, it's like, I like my house. I like my house. So I think I'm probably at the invest mindset. And Mitchie Mama, you're glad you're in a condo, but you do have repairs. Yeah, condo living, depending. If I were to get rid of my house, I would probably go to a condo rather than a rental apartment situation. But still, and yes, exactly, Medium 7 Up. It's always good to know a handyman for a slumlord. It's never good to have a slumlord as your landlord, but it's always good to have a slumlord handyman up your sleeve. And Rick, no, a magnet does not stick to my siding. My magnet is very, very wood, very, very wooden. And Pussycat, exactly. Where would Leo go? Right. He would have to adopt a new home if I left. And so Rick, where am I going to live? There's some city land downtown. I know. And I hear that they're renting it out for $165 a month. I mean, if I could go rent that piece of land for $165 a month, I would go live in a flippin' yurt downtown, for God's sake. And in fact, another thing, soapbox time, another thing that pisses me off about the city of Burien and leasing that piece of land to the dog park at $165 a month is, I want to know if any of those homeless people who had been living on that land had been given the same offer, because there was a fork ton of people living there. And between the 20 or so tents that were living on that piece of land, I'd be willing to bet that those 20 people could probably come up with $165 a month to give to the city. And gosh darn it, why weren't they given first right of refusal? They were already there. Possession, 9/10 of the law, right? Hurmph, Rahr, hiss. That's right. Hurmph, Rahr, hiss. That's my new saying. Yeah, Pussycat. That's right. Half-ass soapbox. Oh, E-Music, are you gonna make me feel better? Here's a story of putting off stuff. I have 3 electrical ballasts, and the main one in the bathroom finally went kaput. I found an electrician, and he was reasonable. He also replaced the top light in the kitchen. $360 in supplies and labor, and oh my God, that's really awesome. Yeah, and you probably lived with the hassle for 3 years, and it's just like, this could have just cost me $360. Oh, what I'm willing to, that's just so frustrating and so typical. So typical. And let's see here. So, okay, cool. Looks like I got most of the, oh, thank you. Wonder how that stopped. Have we not had background music the whole time? I bet we haven't. I'm sure we haven't. Thanks, Pussycat. Good ear. Yeah. Flip the switch. Flip the switch. I made sure, you guys, I'm trying to make sure every single scene that I pull up has music embedded in it. But none of you get to hear it. And Gina, you thought it was weirdly quiet. Shock, checklist. I know. I need one. And, let's see here. Mitchie, dark in half of the bath and over the sink, but after a few days of dark bathroom showers, you were finally glad to someone. Oh, yeah, totally. Oh, it sounds like though it only lasted for a couple days, so that's good. That's very good. And, Andre, we've had the lovely opera of protest. Yeah, today was definitely nothing but me yammering angrily. And then we did have one moment that I thought would bring us back to Zen. But apparently, apparently this makes Rick angry. Oh no.
That is the call of the whippoorwill, a very rare bird. They're becoming rarer and more rare.
So even though, even though I thought that we were gonna chill, apparently a whippoorwill at 2 a.m. is enough to drive Rick to shoot some prell at it. So medium 7-Up, right? You weren't here. What happened is, all right. So the call of the whippoorwill. I thought that it would be soothing, but apparently that whippoorwill likes to go shouting off at 2 a.m. and on the roof of Rick and Darlene's cabin. And so Rick just wants to throw shoes at it. Rick can't stand that flippin' bird, to say so even though I found it soothing, that whippoorwill noise does nothing but raise Rick's blood pressure. And so I thought we were gonna have a moment of zen, and Rick's just like, where's my shoe? So so that explains what I meant by, well, I thought it was gonna be chill, but then Rick got all angry. And let's see here. Oh wow, you can do the same call, Pussycat. Well, don't around Rick at 2 a.m. Okay, don't around Rick at 2 a.m. And Mitchie Mama, back to the county guy, the useless as tits on a bowl county guy. Yeah, that guy. You do wonder if they paid for his move from Vermont to out west. I have no idea. I'd like to say they didn't, but I just don't even know. And let's see here. Yeah, bird sounds probably are common in Florida, and Shock, you're very lucky not to have that that incessant chirping at 2 a.m. Well, actually, you don't know yet. It's not 2 a.m. where you're at. You don't know. You don't know if a whippoorwill isn't going to show up out of nowhere and just sit on the head of your bed going, whippoorwill, whippoorwill. Or perhaps you don't know. Maybe a raven will fly in, doth upon your quadrant's door, or however that is. Nevermore. You don't know. Cindy Krause, you wonder if it costs much to send him back to Vermont. Tell you what, I will start a flippin' collection plate to send him back to Vermont and his no-cop town. I mean, normally you'd think me of all people would be stoked. No cops? Let's do that. But, oh, friend, you just are useless as a city manager. You are useless. And, Andre, yes, whippoorwill better than fireworks or gunfire, for sure. And Pussycat, we have blue jays that are pretty loud. Yeah, we do have blue jays that are pretty loud. In fact, we have Stellar's jays, as I've discussed. In fact, I don't think my cat had ever seen a Stellar's jay before, even though they are around here, because we had one in my backyard literally today, and she got scared of it. Like, that little bluebird, I don't know what he did to her or what she did to her. I don't know. All I know is my cat saw that thing and came running inside, because clearly they had had a past interaction that left her feeling a little less than on top of and in control of the situation. But Cindy, you're saying that when you redid your house, they found what was it? They found live wires, 2x4s not nailed in. The list was long. Yeah, and my house is... I don't really know who built my house, but literally it's a case of like, everything is just a little bit off. I've mentioned before, if you look in my... It took me a long time before I noticed this, but I mentioned before, if you look in my kitchen, all of my cupboards are different colors, just slightly different shades of brown stain. Like, I think that they must have gotten them like from the floor display to display all the different colors. So all of my cupboards are just slightly different shades of brown. My closet doors in my bedroom are hung just off of where the tracks are, like the where the track on the bottom is versus where you hang the door. It's out of alignment by just like one set, or I mean, there's just everything that is just a little bit, that could be just a little bit off. They managed to do in my house. It's like, I look at it and all I can think of is, I think a left-hander built this house. And I say that as a left-hander because oftentimes the first time I do stuff, it's like spatially, it's just not right. You know, it's just a little bit off. And I look at all these things and it's like, yeah, that looks like something that I would have done. And then I would have fixed it, but you didn't. Yes, Kappa hockey. Yes, Kappa kahi. That is exactly it. Then my house is exactly that. And let's see here. And yeah, okay. Mad Statter, your house, yeah, everything is just slightly, it's just a little off, just a little bit. And Monzo Electric, good to see you, first time chatter. Welcome to Chatter with Statter. You are now the part of the Stattervox crew. I am Mad Statter. We, unfortunately, though, are just about to end in about 3 minutes. So I'm super stoked that you could be here with us. But alas, we are winding things up. And let's see. Hold on. Rick, stuff happens. My dad's neighbor had a big corner of his roof shingles slide right off the roof. I don't know how the roofer could have not nailed that many and still walk on them. Rick, I don't know how that could... Rick... I mean, I can appreciate, like, oh, I forgot to hammer that one. I can maybe even appreciate, oh, I forgot to nail in every other shingle. But, like, every single shingle in an area, you just forgot to... Yeah, it must have been after liquid lunch, is what I'm thinking, Rick. Liquid lunch, big time. And in regards to that scream of the peacock, yes, I have heard it, and I dare not want to. I don't want to ever hear one again, at night or in the middle of the day. Peacocks are freaky when they make those noises. And Michi Mama, when you find oddities while cleaning, you make mental notes to check for those things should you decide to buy a house. Totally. And then, so let's see here. Andre, you took carpentry classes for a bit before I realized how dangerous that job is. But as a new student, you had to fix the mistakes of the last class before us. And you look at it and say, what were they thinking? Totally. And so let's see here. Oh, okay, so you're packing for Hawaii. Shame on me for joking about this, but what are you going to wear on Melvine's birthday bash? Honestly, honey, I don't know. But I will say this. I know that you are a light packer. However, if you are going to go to Melvine's birthday party, and I know you are, you really do need to, you know, I mean, it's Melvine. So even if you're only going to wear that shirt, whatever shirt it is, for that one event, you bring that shirt for that one event. Mail it home when you're done, whatever. But this is worth overpacking for. And I know you're the one who's gonna have to carry the luggage. That sucks, it sucks. But whatever, if like you choose the shirt for the event, not for the functionality of it. I know packing light is something that you're proud of, something you should be proud of. But if you're going to, you know, E-Music, normally I would agree with you, but this is Melvine flippin' lead we're talking about here, and you know that she knows how to look good, right? So, well, I mean, I don't know. I'm not... Look, man, all I'm saying is if you've got something that's got silver thread, glittery glitter, or shiny fabric, Melvin Leeds' birthday is where to wear that, okay? That's what I'm saying. So, e-music, don't outdress the birthday girl. I find it hard to believe that anybody would be able to outdress Melvin flippin' Lead. I mean, good Lord. She takes 4 hours to put on her makeup just for her interview or just for their interweb stuff. So, girl's gonna look better than everybody else in the room, but at least, you gotta step up your game just a smidge. I don't know what you should wear, but what I do think is, even if you only wear it for that one event, pack it, and like I said, send it home, mail it home. You don't have to carry it around the whole time. But if there is ever a time to bring something that's like, well, I'm only going to wear it once, this is the time. That's all I'm going to say. And e-music, honestly, I can't believe that I'm arguing with you in regards to this, because dressing down is my life. That is what I do. I'm all about dressing down. But for some reason, I feel like if I was going to Melvin Leeds thing, I would absolutely be finding something sparkly. I would feel obligated. And shock, pack it, steam it in the hot shower to get the wrinkles out. Use it to wrap a bunch of crack seed and ship home at the flat rate box. See? Exactly. There you go. And then, okay, it doesn't help much because the party's near the end of the month. Well, then then the alternate is find something there on the island to wear and then send it home because it's extra. But I mean, if you can find a Tory Richards at, Savers, I mean, wait, did we just all say Savers at the same time or something? Shock, Savers. And then, oh yeah, the other thing is you can find something once you get there. Yeah, exactly. Jinx. Exactly. And if you do find something when you get there, you can, always mail it back home. Because if you're only going to wear it once, then just, buy it, wear it, mail it, ship it. It's all good. And so, yeah, it's a Savers Melvin party sale. You got it. And, so let's see here. Darlene, oh, you're the overpacker. It took you multiple tries to get it right. I know how that is. All right, you guys, we are several minutes past the bottom of the hour. As per our usual trend, it is 6:34, which means we're running late. So we are going to wrap things up, like I said a few minutes ago, and hopefully we will see each other, tomorrow, Monday, Daily Pigeon Live, 6 p.m. West Coast time, 3 p.m. Hawaii time. But if we don't see each other then, I'm hoping that we can see each other on Wednesday, June 21st, 4 p.m. West Coast time, 1 p.m. Hawaii time, 7 p.m. on the East Coast, 6 p.m. for our Central Time folk. And that's when we will convene all of the chattery statteries again. And hopefully on Wednesday, I won't be yelling at you like I did today. I mean, I wasn't really yelling at you, even though I was yelling at you. You know. So, thank you so much for letting me yell at you. There you go. Take care, y'all.